Welcome back to Aviation India. In today's video, we're diving into a list that might stir some controversy: 6 planes that are disappearing because of their bad reputation. Some of these aircraft were once considered promising, even revolutionary, but pilot prejudice, mechanical issues, or even just a few loud online voices doomed them to be overlooked, underappreciated, and now, nearly extinct. Let's take a closer look at these misunderstood machines and find out what really happened. Cessna 336 Skymaster. The Cessna 336 was the non-retractable gear version of the later and more famous Cessna 337 Skymaster. But this early, push-pull, twin-engine design was met with skepticism right from the start. The idea of having one engine in the front and another in the back sounded clever, offering centerline thrust and eliminating asymmetric yaw in engine-out scenarios. However, many pilots didn't trust the configuration. The fixed gear added drag, making it slower than expected, and mechanics found the rear engine hard to service. While it was meant to be safer than conventional twins, its odd design made people uncomfortable. Add to that the lack of baggage space and poor cabin insulation, and you had a plane that wasn't very practical for travel. Resale value also plummeted quickly, which discouraged private buyers from taking a chance. And without retractable gear or a turbo option, it couldn't compete with the faster twins on the market. As a result, very few were produced, and even fewer remain flying today. Despite its decent performance, the 336 is disappearing, mainly because of the bad first impression it gave the aviation community. Beachcraft Duchess, Model 76. The Beach Duchess was introduced in the late 1970s as a twin-engine trainer. On paper, it was a smart competitor to the Piper Seminole, with sleek lines and Beechcraft's reputation for quality. But it never quite earned respect. Why? For many, the answer lies in the engines. The Lycoming O360s were considered underpowered for the airframe, especially in hot and high conditions. And during training, its engine-out performance was, let's just say, educational in the worst way. Some instructors even referred to it as a twin that teaches fear, due to how quickly it could lose altitude with one engine out. The interior was also considered cramped, and the panel layout wasn't as intuitive as its rivals. Maintenance wasn't as straightforward either. Despite being a trainer, parts could be surprisingly expensive. Many instructors felt it was too soft to be a serious twin, and buyers avoided it for not having the prestige of a Baron or the simplicity of a Piper. Today, you can still find a few Duchess aircraft flying, but many are grounded, discarded by schools and ignored by private buyers. It's a plane with decent bones, but a long shadow of bad reviews has all but erased it from modern general aviation. Piper Tomahawk. Nicknamed the Tomahawk by flight instructors, the Piper Tomahawk was introduced in the late 1970s as a rival to the Cessna 150 and 152. It was marketed as a purpose-built trainer, with better visibility and a T-tail design that looked modern for its time. But reality didn't match the brochure. Pilots quickly discovered the Tomahawk had quirks. Its stall characteristics were abrupt and unforgiving, and its T-tail sometimes delayed recovery. Flight schools saw too many incidents involving the Tomahawk, especially during spin training. It didn't help that the aircraft had structural issues early on. Piper had to issue several ADs to reinforce the fuselage and stabilizer. And despite its sleek look, the interior felt cramped, with rudder pedals that students often complained about. Mechanics didn't love it either. Parts were harder to source than Cessna equivalents, and the maintenance costs were disproportionately high for a trainer. Today, few are still used in flight schools, and many have been retired early, not because they couldn't fly, but because their reputation grounded them faster than any AD ever could. Grumman AA-5B Tiger. Fast, responsive, and with a bubble canopy that offered great visibility, the Grumman Tiger should have been a general aviation superstar. With cruise speeds of 139 knots and a simple fixed-gear layout, it had excellent performance for its class. But buyers couldn't get past its unusual construction. The bonded aluminum structure, no rivets, caused concern about durability and long-term repairs. some mechanics refused to work on them. Additionally, parts availability became an issue after production stopped in the late 70s. Despite attempts to revive the brand, support faded and so did demand. Today, many AA-5BS are in hangars or salvage yards, not because they flew poorly, but because pilots and ANPS never trusted their unique design. A real shame, because this was one of the best handling four-seaters of its time. Mooney M22 Mustang. You'd think that Mooney's only pressurized aircraft would be a rare collectible, but the M22 Mustang has suffered one of the worst reputations in general aviation history. Released in the late 1960s, it was supposed to compete with small business jets and turbocharged piston aircraft. But it was underpowered, complex to maintain, and expensive to operate. Its Continental TSI 0520 engine struggled at altitude, and many early models had systems reliability issues. With only 36 units ever built, the Mustang became the symbol of Mooney's overreach. Even today, when one goes up for sale, it sits for months, sometimes years. Its reputation as too much plane, for too little performance, makes buyers hesitate. The M22 might look sleek, but its history keeps it from ever being embraced. And that's why it's practically extinct in today's skies. Rally Manurva 220, Sakata. This French utility aircraft was known for its rugged landing gear, STOL capabilities, and flexible design. But in North America, the Rally series never really caught on. The Manurva 220 was the higher-powered version, with 220 horsepower and decent cruise performance. But it gained a reputation as awkward and strange to fly, especially because of its unique control feel and unusual flap system. Many U.S. pilots found the handling mushy compared to the Cessna 182 or Piper Cherokee. Parts support was limited, and some models had quirky electrical issues that frustrated owners. Even though it was ideal for short airstrips and backcountry missions, its odd reputation kept it from gaining traction in major markets. Today, few are registered outside Europe, and even there, they're becoming rare. A perfect example of a good plane, misunderstood into obscurity. In aviation, reputation can be everything. These 6 aircraft weren't grounded by poor performance or dangerous designs, they were brought down by perception. Whether fair or not, a bad reputation spreads fast in the pilot community. Some of these planes deserved more love. Others needed a few tweaks to become truly great. But what they all share is this: they're disappearing, not because they couldn't fly, but because people never gave them the chance. Have you ever flown one of these aircraft? Or do you know of another plane that was unfairly judged? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Aviation India for more deep dives like this one.